Hi everyone. This video will discuss the issue of consent, particularly with regard to the nasal flu vaccine that the Irish government intends to make freely available to children between the ages of 2 and 12 this year. However, the information in this video can also be applied to any vaccine. Firstly, the HSE website states that the nasal flu vaccine will be available from the middle of October 2020. However, as with everything else, dates may change, so be prepared for the vaccine to be available sooner. Earlier this year, on the 10th of July to be specific, Statutory Instrument number 241 of 2020 was published. This regulation makes it permissible for children over the age of 24 months to be administered with the flu vaccine through a nasal spray suspension. At the time, the Irish government stated that they believed facilitating delivery of the flu vaccine through a nasal suspension would increase the rate of take-up. The HSE website states that the vaccine may be obtained at your GP or pharmacy, so there is no suggestion that the flu vaccine will be administered in schools. Also, the HSE Immunisation School Programme for 2021 does not make reference to the flu vaccine being administered in schools. That said, as a parent, I would encourage you to be vigilant, as it seems in circumstances where the vaccine will be made freely available to those between the ages of 2 and 12, that the school environment would be the most natural place to undertake administration. Now, the reason I wanted to make this short video is twofold. One, to discuss information being made available by the HSE to healthcare providers around consent for minors, and two, to discuss the need or otherwise for a parental non-consent form for the flu vaccine which may be handed into your child's school. So, when we talk about the age of consent for minors, the relevant piece of legislation is Section 23 of the Non-Fatal Offences Against the Person Act 1997, which provides that a person over the age of 16 years can give consent to surgical, medical or dental treatment without needing to obtain consent from their parents or legal guardian. I would have presumed the age of consent would have been 18 years, so this is the first point of note. And in this respect, you should ensure that you educate your child as to your agreement or disagreement with the flu or other vaccines and your reasoning. Many people have asked if I could draft a flu vaccine parental non-consent form, and initially I did not see the need for this, given that any healthcare provider engaged by the school would have to ensure consent was obtained for any child under the age of 16 years. However, I no longer hold this position following a review of the National Consent Policy version 1.3 published by the Health Service Executive, and I would now encourage every parent who does not consent to their child receiving the flu or other vaccines at school to send in a parental non-consent form. I would also encourage parents to read the HSE National Consent Policy in full, as I only intend to review the age of consent for minor children in this video. I have included a link to the consent policy in the description box of this video. So let's now take a brief look at the section of the policy that is concerning. Part 2 deals with children and minors and confirms that the age of consent with respect to surgical, medical or dental treatments is 16 years of age. However, this policy goes on to state that a mature minor, so that is a child under the age of 16 years and with no lower age limit, remember that, no lower age limit, who is considered by a healthcare provider to have sufficient understanding and intelligence to enable that child to understand what is being proposed, can give consent to their own medical treatment without parental consent or knowledge. The HSE consent policy goes on to state that the concept of a mature minor is accepted in many other jurisdictions such as Northern Ireland, Scotland, New Zealand, Australia and Canada. Furthermore, this policy proceeds to state that this same assessment of maturity is relevant for all minors under 16, including those who have been diagnosed with intellectual disability. You might ask how this has become possible. In my view, it is possible due to the rights included under Article 42A of the Constitution arising from the Children's Referendum. In actual fact, the HSE consent policy makes reference to the personal rights of the child under the Constitution as a mechanism to override the wishes of parents. So what can you as a parent do? I would suggest the following. 1. Educate your children as to your views on vaccinations and the benefit versus risks associated with same. 2. Ensure your child is aware that they may be approached by a healthcare provider at school asking if they consent to a vaccine being given to them. I would suggest that you educate your child, regardless of their age, that vaccines at school are not compulsory, and ensure that they do not feel pressurised into taking a vaccine simply because everyone else is doing it. And above all, ensure your child knows that they should contact you, their parent or guardian, immediately to discuss the procedure before making any choice. And 3. Send a parental guardian non-consent form to the school, advising that you neither consent to the flu or any other vaccine being given to your child without your prior written consent, and confirming that your child does not have the maturity, understanding or intelligence to give informed consent without parental involvement. And that in this regard, should a decision be made by the school or healthcare provider that your child is considered mature enough to make a decision without parental consent, that you shall hold them personally liable for loss, damage, injury and interference with your constitutional rights to safeguard the welfare of your child. For completeness, I've included a template parental guardian non-consent form in the description box to this video. Thanks for watching.